Hi, and welcome to the webinar. My name is Cliff Freeman, and I'll be your host for about the next 20 minutes as we walk through our introduction to eXp Realty. I am super excited to be here with you today to talk to you about how this company has changed real estate as we know it in North America and how it's impacting in a very positive way the lives of thousands, tens of thousands of real estate agents just like you who left the traditional broken brokerage model to join the movement that eXp is starting. All right, let's get started. Today, I'm going to talk with you about who we are, including our leadership team and our visionary CEO and leader, Glenn Sanford. Next, we'll do a dive into our business model, which is completely different and unzips the old brokerage model where the broker was the one who was in charge and who made the money. We're going to talk about how eXp has now provided a superhighway for agents to hop on and earn additional pillars of income through revenue share and stock ownership. This is truly an agent-owned company. Then I'm going to take you through eXp World, which are our offices in the cloud. This is where we hop in the morning and put on our avatar, go in and meet and collaborate with all the other agents in eXp and all of the support and service areas as well. We have departments for agent services, transactions. Our brokers can meet us up there in the world, and it is in real time, and we have real conversations with these people, just like we were in the same room with them. The difference is that they're much more readily available than your departments in your own local brokerages. And here we actually have support that's up and running from 8 in the morning until 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Next, we'll talk about eXp solutions for lead gen and for business management, including our proprietary software, eXp Enterprise, which is the first of its kind that's built on a nationwide scale to be able to run your business and to be able to track all your transactions, your stock ownership, and your revenue share. And then lastly, I'm going to give you an opportunity to consider joining eXp and show you how to do that. And I hope at the end of this webinar that, like me, you will see the light. And the light is so bright that once you see it, you cannot unsee it, and you'll consider joining eXp. All right, so let's start with who we are. Our founder, Glenn Sanford, has an amazing background in technology and real estate and finance. He started out in 2002. He joined Keller Williams, and his expertise was in lead generation. And in Glenn's fourth year as a mega agent with KW, he closed over $60 million. And he primarily generated this business through online lead generation back when it was just getting started. You know, prior to that, Glenn also had a background as a stockbroker, and at one time was also involved in capital formation and finance for companies. After that, he worked with AOL, and this is prior to becoming a real estate agent, but he worked with AOL and helped design some of the early chat rooms and created a lot of the technology that AOL rolled out, who was the preeminent, the leader in technology in its day. And Glenn was spearheading that. So Glenn has got a DNA that is such a fit for our company, for where we are. And was so exciting recently to see eXp and Glenn talk about being uplisted to NASDAQ, and we actually exceeded a $1 billion market cap our first day of trading. So none of this would have happened had it not been for Glenn Sanford and his incredible knowledge of finance and technology and real estate. And so to Glenn, we're extremely thankful and just really excited to be following his vision, and he is definitely blazing a new trail here in real estate. If we take a look at some of the timelines of eXp, I'm going to go ahead and talk about how eXp, when we got started, which was actually back in 2009, and how we evolved. A lot of people don't realize that eXp is that old, which really in real terms is not very old. 2009, if this is 2018, that makes us about 9 years old. But there were some significant things that happened along the way here. It was interesting in 2013 and trends the trends report from Stefan Schwanapol, he actually called eXp the Amazon of real estate. And interestingly, it was also in that year that Glenn Sanford, again, just following his vision, merged all the eXp ownership into a publicly traded shell, which gave us access to the public markets. And the reason why this is important to understand is that eXp instantly became a publicly traded company. And we did it without having to raise any expensive venture capital money. Glenn didn't have to give up control of the board. He still is in charge here. He's the majority owner. And we don't have a lot of equity that we've got to, we promised some people some, absorbent returns on, and we are now beholden to them. So this is extremely important to understand that unlike companies like Redfin and Compass and others who have tapped the public markets, we don't have to be accountable to the vision of those particular venture capitalists who are oftentimes not in alignment with what really needs to happen. They're usually looking for a short-term pop and want to see instant earnings and so forth. But Glenn knew the correct financial mechanism to get this company afloat was to do this reverse merger and to get us on the markets here. And now we're trading on the NASDAQ next to Google, Facebook, and Apple. So amazing genius financial engineering when it comes to managing the growth of this company. You can see here on this timeline, there are also some other very significant events that happened. We got the finalists for most innovative brokerage. Glenn was recognized as one of the top 100 most influential in real estate. The agent count tripled, and I can say that when I joined back in October of 2016, if I recall correctly, I believe that our agent count was around 3,000. And today we're exceeding 12,000. So that is what you definitely will talk about the hockey stick growth here in just a moment. But the other thing is that Glassdoor, which is sort of the preeminent, I guess you would say, the people who rate companies on the best places to work, actually named eXp as one of the best places to work in 2018. So regarding that explosive growth, let's go back here and look and see exactly how fast eXp has grown. So you can see by this chart that eXp has had exponential growth in the last 5 years. And if this trend continues, again, it doesn't take much of an imagination to see that eXp is going to be the dominant brokerage in the United States in a few short years. What's really interesting about this is if you look and study the history of super startups and companies in high growth mode, and the ones that go on to be successful, is all of them hit this hockey stick growth pattern that we're seeing here at eXp. So this is just a glimpse of what is about to happen with eXp and why you should strongly consider getting on board now rather than later when we've already introduced it to hundreds of thousands of agents. All right, the next thing I want to talk about are eXp's core values. And eXp's core values are extremely important to understand. And if you're contemplating coming aboard eXp, you really need to be sure that your core values are in alignment with eXp's core values. And I must say that if you're happy at another brokerage and their core values are not the same as ours, you may not be a good fit. If you're not able to adapt to new situations, if you're not agile, if you don't believe in innovation, if you don't believe in transparency, for crying out loud, because I've been in many real estate offices where agents held their cards close to themselves, and the owners, those brokers, were very slow to talk about any type of company or corporate developments, and certainly not willing to share the financials of the company or any equity with any of the agents. And lastly, how about those offices where you go in and everybody has their private offices with the doors locked and there is no collaboration? So if you're looking for a company that believes in community, that believes in surviving change and benefiting from change, that believes in innovation, that believes in collaboration, that you can learn from other really smart people that are in the company, that believes in complete transparency, getting things out from behind the curtain, believes in community, fun, sustainability, and really at the top of the list is integrity, doing the right thing, then eXp might very well be that core value fit that you've been looking for. All right, let's move on and talk about our business model now and understand the key differences between eXp and those traditional brokerage models that have been really the history of the last 30 years of real estate. Century 21, Cendent, Remax, Keller Williams, and now the new model, which is one brokerage, not a franchise, and that's eXp. If we go back and take a look at the old-fashioned franchise, the typical franchise, you notice they have a lot of brick and mortar. They have a lot of overhead, a lot of people. They charge agents desk fees and franchise fees. In addition to that, brokerages that are on a franchise model, it's just like restaurant franchises or any other kind of franchise. You are limited in the geographic scope in which you can do business. And for those of you who have teams or are contemplating an expansion of your teams, you know the problems and the challenges you run into with a franchise model. You have to go to an OP or operating principal of a different franchise in a different city or state. You've got to get their permission to set up. And then in addition to that, that's assuming that you can get them to know you, like you, let you do business there. They're going to charge you another cap. And so there are all kinds of impediments to growing teams. That is not the case at eXp. There is only one cap across North America and potentially across the world as we continue to grow. So we have really, Glenn knows and understands the mega agent model and the expansion model. And that's why he broke down and tore down the barriers that franchises put up. All right. What else? What else is different about the typical franchise in eXp? Well, let's talk about growth incentives. First of all, how many of you are agents at a company that's publicly traded? Maybe it's Remax, maybe it's Berkshire Hathaway. Are you just getting participation trophies whenever you have a great month or a great year? Is that all? They recognize you, put your name on a plaque, and that's it? Well, at eXp, we provide growth incentives, not only to grow your business, but also to help grow the company. And these include revenue share, which we'll talk about, and stock awards and the ability to purchase stock at a discount. No other company has ever, no other brokerage has ever offered anything like this before. Also, with the old typical franchise model, you're going to be very limited in terms of the support and the technology that you can get. Again, here at eXp, the cloud is our office, and our office hours are typically 8 in the morning until 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're working late at night, then you can typically get help with just about anything you'd need. In fact, if you need help with transaction work, SkySlope is one of our partners and provides our transaction management. Their support is 24/7. So let's take a look. That's the typical franchise model. Let's take a look more closely at eXp. You've got the cloud campus environment. There is no desk fee, and as long as you have an internet connection, you can be at work. As far as training goes, you're not confined to what is going on at a market center for training. There is live training, over 20 hours a week of online training that is world-class, best-of-breed training from people who have been with other coaching programs, including myself, including MAPS, including Ferry, including Buffini, you name it. We've got people who have been either coaches or through those programs and know them to a very high level and are taking the best of the best to make that training available to you live online. Again, real-time support. These are real conversations you're having with support teams. They're standing by waiting to help. The collaboration, now that we're in Canada, is indeed international collaboration. You can meet anybody anywhere in the cloud anytime you want to, and it's just like being with them. And lastly, I mentioned it earlier, but eXp is the first company to provide real estate agents with a true exit strategy, which includes generational wealth that you're going to build through revenue share and through equity, through rewards and through stock purchases. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the cloud campus environment in a little bit more detail here. Again, no desk fees. You can work from anywhere. There are no brick and mortar costs. I've been told that one of the largest privately held companies that's a franchise model in North America has in excess of $700 million a year in fixed overhead. And that includes brick and mortar, regional managers, yada, yada, yada. That is not the case with eXp. We do not have those costs. There are no expensive leases that you have to personally sign on if you own a market center, which there is no franchise to buy here. That means that the company, since they don't have to spend the money on fixed assets, can invest in agent support and technology. Everything we do is paperless and online. And because we operate in the world, again, everybody has an office that is in the cloud that you can access just by joining eXp World. Let me talk a little bit about the live training now. Again, 15 to 20 hours every week of live training. You can learn about top industry experts and top producers about sales and listings, farming, lead generation, how to do your social media. We have classes on KB Core and other CRMs, SkySlope. All of these classes are online, and they are taught by people who are tops in the business. In addition to that, we maintain a library, and eXp University will host a number of recordings of these so that you can get them on demand and see them whenever it's convenient for you. All right, so now back to real-time support. Again, just to touch on this, everything is on demand for you. It's live in the cloud. We have transaction specialists. No matter where you're located, we can get it done for you. And the teams typically, and this is updated, are typically there until 9 o'clock Eastern time, which is about 6 o'clock on the West Coast if you're out on the West Coast. All right. Now, again, international collaboration, just to revisit this, I have powerful connections. I'm launching a team up in British Columbia. There are teams in Ontario, Calgary. Canada will eventually all be part of eXp, and we can all benefit by through referrals, by sharing ideas, training, and so forth. And so this really tears down the walls and opens up communications like never before with agents all over the world. Again, just to reiterate about the agent ownership, some more detail here. eXp is publicly traded on the NASDAQ, and again, its first day of trading, our market cap crossed the $1 billion mark. The ticker symbol for eXp is EXPI, and there are several different ways that you can acquire stock in our company. First, I'm going to talk about equity awards. The company believes that you should be rewarded for doing the right thing. So on your first transaction, you're going to receive 50 shares. And again, this can change depending on the agent count, but currently it's 50 shares on your first transaction. And then when you fully cap or pay in that $16,000 cap, which I'll go into a little bit more detail here in just a minute, the company is going to reward you with 100 shares. Now, the stock today was trading around 15, so that's $1,500 or $1,500 worth of stock when you cap. And then lastly, equity awards are also given when you sponsor an agent. They'll give you 100 shares when that agent you sponsored closes their first transaction. So those are equity awards available to everybody. The next program for really high producers is called the Icon Agent Program. And Icon agents are those agents who cap and close enough business to meet their $16,000 cap, which is just $80,000 in gross commissions. And then after that, they continue to do business so that they pay in $5,000 in additional transaction fees. And after you cap, you go to 100% and a $250 transaction fee. So just in brief, if you're a solo agent, that's roughly 20 transactions later. If you have a team, it could be more or less depending on how your splits are and who's paying in. But the key to remember is that when you pay in an additional $5,000 in transaction fees, then the company rewards you by giving you $16,000 in stock. Now, $12,000 of that is immediate. Another $4,000 of that, $2,000 comes with the cultural goals of attending eXpCon and attending the shareholders meeting. So once you hit your transaction fee cap, and then attend those two events, then you get the full $16,000 in stock, which is a great deal. Again, this is real money. These are not participation trophies, okay? Lastly, which is something that I personally am very much a part of, is the ability to enroll in the Agent Equity Program and contribute as much as 5% of every transaction toward the purchase of stock. 5% of every transaction commission. So for example, if you make $10,000, you can take $500 of that and purchase eXp stock at a 20% discount. Now this is treasury stock, so it is Rule 144 stock, which essentially means that there are some holding periods and there are restrictions on it, but it is not, they're not, they don't handcuff you to the point where you never get the stock. It simply means that it's stock that comes out of the company treasury and that has a holding period. So we can go into more detail about that. If you have questions about that, please let me know. I'll be happy to talk some more about that. Okay, now along with the agent ownership comes something that is even more powerful, and that's revenue share. So let's talk about that for a minute. First is single agent revenue share. So when you attract an agent who joins eXp, and that agent is a good producing agent, because that's what we're looking for. We are not looking for people who don't sell real estate. We're not looking for people who are not producers. We're not looking for that at all. We're looking for people who are the top realtors and real estate agents in the country who produce. So when you bring one of those on board, you're going to earn up to 3.5% of their gross commission. And what that means is, let's translate that into dollars. That's up to $2,800 for each agent who caps that you personally introduce to eXp. Now that revenue share is paid by company dollars, and it doesn't reduce the agent's commission. That's part of the $16,000 that agent pays in. So if you introduce, just do the math, if you introduce 10 people, then you could, and they all capped, you could earn $28,000 a year just from those 10 agents, okay? So that's the single agent benefit. Now, what happens, is we all know, is if it's that good, then those agents are gonna go tell other agents. And that's what happened. That's how my revenue group has grown from my 15 personally sponsored to over 1,200 agents, all the way down through 7 levels in my revenue group today. And that's called multi-agent revenue share. And this is where you can really create some wealth and some generational wealth that can be passed down to your whoever your beneficiaries are, your children, your wife, your husband, your family, etc. So in this case, if you get in and say you sponsor agents who then sponsor an agent themselves, then you actually will be able to earn up to $3,200 a year for each of those agents that your agent sponsored in your second level. And that represents up to 4% of gross commission. Now, obviously, you can do the math. This is exponential. And there is no limit to the amount of money that you can make. So if you're good at agent attraction, it is very possible to make some really good money with this. And this is sort of how it plays out. So again, your personally sponsored agents are in your level 1. And level 1 is this right here. So level 1 is here, and you can have any number of agents up that you want to, and that you recruit personally, and you'll get up to $2,800 per capping agent. Now, for every agent that those recruit, If you have a minimum of 5 agents, now again, you have to have a minimum number of agents you've personally recruited to be able to open up these different agent levels. But if you have personally recruited 5 agents, okay, then those that are in your second line, okay, which could be more than that, you get to earn up to $3,200 per year from their cap. And so it goes on. If you've been able to personally recruit 10 agents, you open up level 3, and those level 3 agents are kind of second generation, and you will receive $2,000 from their cap every year. And it goes on and on and on and on until you get down to level 7. And if you've opened up all 7 levels by personally inviting and onboarding 40 agents to eXp, at that level, you will earn $4,000 of agents in your 7th level of their production. So this is a very favorable, a very attractive compensation, shall we say, compensation program for agents that has never been done in the real estate business. And it is a great way to get rewarded for helping grow the company. And if you have questions about this, at the end of the webinar, you're going to be invited for a one-to-one call with me personally to see if this is a fit. And I would be happy to go into more detail on how the revenue share works at that time. All right, so now let's move on and talk about eXp World. And this is the whole thing. This is what the technology part of eXp is that gives us the leverage that traditional brokers will not be able to ever have. Okay, this is the real estate office of the future. It is a cloud campus environment. And what you see on your screen right now is the login. And then to the right of that on that laptop is actually the auditorium. And we have meetings in the auditorium, leadership meetings there every Friday. The auditorium can hold hundreds and hundreds of people. And it is really, if you've not experienced it before, it is not a game, although it looks like it. It is very much, after you've done it, you feel like that, you've been doing it. It's like being live. You get to know people. It really is amazing. And they've got these avatars designed with so much personality that they can dance, do flips. I know this sounds crazy, but you wouldn't believe the energy in some of our meetings when you see everybody getting up. They can clap, applaud, dance, all kinds of stuff. It really is exciting. It's just like, almost like being there, okay? So when you walk into the community, you walk in, there's an information desk there. There's Joshua, the onboarding administrator, great guy. There are other specialized departments. You can go in with your team down here and collaborate. You can share information. These little tables with circles around them are private areas so that nobody can hear your conversation. There's the daily training here. Again, the specialized department onboarding, brokers, transaction management. Canada has a department up there. You can actually find Glenn Sanford's office, Jason Gessing, our CEO, Vicky Bartholomew. They all have offices up there, and then also the large-scale meetings that take place in places like the auditorium. By golly, we've even got a soccer field and a power boat that you can hop on if you're having one of those days and you just want to go out and cruise around. You can hop on a power boat and go out there and cruise around the bay and tour the outside of the campus. It's really, really cool. So this is a, and I'll be happy to show you this, give you your own personalized tour of the office. There is a little video here that rather than do that, I would invite you to, after the webinar, let's get together, set up some time, and I'm going to help you get an avatar together and actually walk in with me through the world, and I'll introduce you to people there at agent services, transactions, and you can really get a personal feel for what's going on in the world. The world is incredible. And again, this is probably one of the most misunderstood parts of eXp because until you've been in the world, it's really hard to understand the value. And I've got to tell you that, again, there is nothing like being able to know that from my office, I can hop in the cloud and go into somebody's office in the cloud and be with them and not have to get on an airplane, not have to walk down a hall, not have to get in a car and drive across town, but be there right away. It's very, very cool, and it's very efficient. All right. I hope you're still with me. I hope you've got a lot of really good notes, because you're really going to want to pay attention for this next section as we talk about eXp solutions. And what we're going to talk about here are those things technology-wise that really make eXp different, okay? So here you go. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about these primary differentiators for eXp. The first one is eXp Enterprise, which is our business intelligence. It's our own proprietary software that our software group has designed and developed. Nobody else has it. We'll talk about SkySlope, which is a transaction management system that's totally paperless. This is the one that has the 24/7 support online that you can get. We also collaborate in a tool called Workplace that was especially designed for companies like an intranet, but it's designed more like Facebook, so it's got a lot more interaction than an intranet, and it really operates similar to how private groups and stuff operate on Facebook, but it is totally limited to eXp and specially designed for us. Then we're going to talk about CRM and lead generation, which, boy, do we have some exciting news coming out about that. And lastly, we're going to talk about branding and marketing, which is huge for eXp. I mean, they have got some incredible tools for branding, marketing, listing presentations, postcards, and so forth that we'll get to here shortly. So let's start out with eXp Enterprise. And here's an example of the eXp Enterprise dashboard, where you can go in and under finance, you can check your revenue share, you can check your equity ownership, you have a profile, your dashboard that shows you your production, how much you've paid in. There is a section here for transactions where you can go in and look at the details on every transaction that you have, whether it's pending, closed, or a listing that you've put into place. You've got support here, an entire agent directory, and then you've got quick links to all the tools that you need to help you get training. Look at the eXp calendar. If you need to download logos, whatever it is, it's all here in eXp Enterprise. And what's really cool about this, again, is it's all at your fingertips. It's a great business intelligence, business management tool, and you can follow along almost in real time how, for example, your revenue group is increasing. And I mean, and it's after a period of time, you'll be able to see changes in your revenue group on a daily and perhaps even an hourly basis as those numbers continue to increase. Okay, the next thing I want to do is speak a little bit about SkySlope. And again, this is the online transaction management system. You may be familiar with this. It is a great tool. It works great with teams or individual agents. It's integrated to let you sign documents digitally. Again, you can use it to review transactions on anything, whether it's a phone. I use it on my phone. I've downloaded the app, desktop, laptop, what have you. It's really best of class for transaction management. And then again, there's Workplace by Facebook, and Workplace is just super cool. We have all these different groups over here. You can see them kind of on the left. The Texas State group, people who are new to eXp, eXp Workplace tips, conversion discussion, XCamp, which is for mega agents. Again, we've got Canada, all sorts of different groups in here. And again, if you will request some time with me after the webinar, when you have that opportunity, I'll be happy to walk you through Workplace and show you just how powerful it is. But it's very, very powerful. All right, the next thing is we are rolling out an enterprise version of KV Core. And if you're not familiar with KV Core, you may want to go check it out. You can Google it, KV Core, or go to insiderealestate.com. It is one of the best, and I know them all. I know Boomtown, Real Geeks, Tiger Leads, Ylopo, Commissions Inc. I mean, there's not one of them out there that I have not got some feedback on or personally helped set up and run myself for my clients. FirePoint, you name it. But I got to tell you, from an all-in-one, all-encompassing platform, KV Core is going to really just go laps around these others, especially for the money, because this tool, if you were to buy it, would be, I don't know, $1,500 a month plus your pay-per-click, but you're going to be able to get this as part of your $50 a month tech fee. So for those of you who are doing online lead generation, I mean, you can save another $20,000, $30,000 a year in lead gen costs just by going over and using KV Core. So, and in addition to that, if you don't like to do your own pay-per-click, eXp can provide pay-per-click services for you. They have a department called Making It Rain, which does pay-per-click on Google and helps you generate those leads. Okay, and again, if you have questions about this, I invite you to grab some time in my calendar and we can talk about it one-to-one. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is the incredible marketing and branding that eXp is doing for the agents. And that includes templates for business cards, brochures, signage. But beyond that, as I mentioned before, they've got entire listing presentations in here. There's just a plethora of all the marketing tools that you would need. And in addition, for those of you who are in the luxury market, we just partnered with the Luxury Home Marketing Institute. And now you're going to be able to market yourself as a certified luxury home specialist, also through the luxury department of eXp. So that's the private group for eXp Luxury, and that's also going to be available to help you differentiate yourself if you're working in a luxury market. It is going to be bad to the bone. All right. So that just about sums up everything here that I wanted to talk with you about, with the exception of your next step, and that is joining eXp. So as you reflect on your notes and what you've seen on the webinar today, and you're wondering, you're asking yourself, is this the thing that I want to do? Then let's talk about that for a minute. And I'm going to come back here so we can look at each other and just mention a little bit some of the accolades that eXp has gotten. What people are saying about eXp. Again, Schwanapol said in 2013 that eXp is the Amazon of real estate. It's been in Inman all over the place, seeking alpha, disrupting the real estate business. The Amazon model of zero physical infrastructure, real estate, you're next. Best place to work by Glassdoor. I can personally share my testimony with you. Again, just grab some time in my calendar. I'd love to talk with you. But I can also tell you how other people, other agents, mega agents, superstars who I've coached in the past, and others who just came on board because they saw the light. They saw the opportunity here. They wanted to expand their team, and they wanted to do it without impediments. They were looking for a way to retain agents as opposed to having a revolving door on their buyer agent side. I mean, we have been trying to solve this problem for years, and it wasn't up until now when Glenn Sanford, and thank you, Glenn, for your vision. You're amazing, and for the leadership team for helping execute. But it has not been possible up until now to do that, and to be able to have life after real estate. When you're tired of driving the snotty-nosed kids around in the back seat of your car, and you're tired of buyer agents who are leaving your team because they want to go start their own team, and there's nothing you can do to help them. That's all changed now. Everything is different. eXp is making a dent in the universe. And if you feel like it's a core value fit for you, then I definitely want a chance to talk with you. Let me just talk with you right now a little bit about the costs and so forth, because I know that's important. The standard commission at eXp is less than many other places. There is no royalty, franchise fee, or any of that. There's just a flat $16,000 cap, and you pay that in an 80-20 split until you gross $80,000 in commission. After that, you're on 100% commission. There is a $250 transaction fee until you pay $5,000 in transaction costs. So if you're a single agent, again, that would be 20, but it's not always going to be 20 if you're on a team. After that, that transaction cost goes down to $75 after that. Okay, so that's how we handle the commission and the cap. The standard cost to join and to get on board with eXp It's a $99 startup fee. That's it. There's no franchise fee. You couldn't buy a franchise fee if you wanted one. We don't sell them. There's a $50 a month tech fee. There's a $420 a year university fee, which includes all of the live training. So you don't have to fly to different market centers or go pay to get coaching or whatever. $420 a year will cover all of that, all that training for you. Each file has a $25 broker review fee, and then the E&O insurance is going to be $30 per transaction. It's actually $40 if you are in California. And that's it. It's that simple. Those are the costs. Everything is streamlined. It is super, super easy. And you can't find a better opportunity to get in and get on board. And by the way, just a reminder, that cap that you pay is for the entire geographic footprint of the company. You don't have to go find another broker. If you're in North Carolina and want to open up an office in Charleston, you don't have to go get permission from the broker there and set up another cap and all that kind of stuff. You are in, okay? You are in like Flynn, and you can do it. You don't have to have anybody's OP's permission or any of that sort of thing. So next thing is, again, I'm flipping back here to this other slide, but I wanted to go and just now invite you to set up a time at the bottom of where you see the webinar. There'll be a place for you to click a link, and I want you to set up some time with me so we can talk about this personally. I'd love to have you join me on this venture. You can also go to cliffreeman.exprealty.careers and sign up there. But please, if you would, just give eXp some serious consideration. I can tell you it has made real estate fun again, and it's also completely changed my outlook for the next 20 years and into retirement. So I thank you for being on the webinar today. Really appreciate you being here, and I'll look forward to speaking with you. Let's make it happen together, and we'll either see you at the top or from the top. Thank you for being here today.